Hello, and welcome to another episode of Be the Love to Awaken Our Souls. Thank you again so much for tuning in this week. I'm Stacy Musial.
And I am Brenda Carey. We are your co-hosts and souls on the journey, and we are on a mission to raise the consciousness of humans and the planet, and we need your help. Please spread the word to your family and friends and join us every week. Consider becoming a Patreon supporter or a sponsor to help with the operating costs like editing and the many hours we spend creating these shows with quality guests and content. And if you have resonated with our mission, support us in a way that raises your vibration to love. And before we get to our meditation that we traditionally do before jumping into this episode, I'd like to offer an opening intention and prayer. So allow yourself to get settled. If it's possible for you, close the eyes down. If not, just taking in a few deep breaths with a softer gaze. And we're just calling in this energy of joy and love and wonder like children. For so many of us, we need to draw in this energy to connect with Source, Great Spirit, God, Universe. We are calling in this energy and honoring this sacred time. If there is a healing intention that you would like to bring into this listening, please do so. You are a part of our Be the Love community. You are heard and recognized and known on such a deep level. Opening the heart space, really tapping in. What are you filled with joy with today? Honoring this time, honoring your experiences, honoring the connection to your highest wisdom. And so it is. Aho.
So it is. And if it feels safe for you, I'd like to begin to invite you to take a moment to get centered with us. I'd like to begin by inviting you to take a beautiful cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, releasing anything that is keeping you from being present. And take another deep breath in through your nose, breathing in calm, peaceful, loving energy, and breathing out anything you are ready to release in this now moment. And take one more breath in through your nose, breathing in light and love for yourself. And imagine breathing that light and love and send it back to all of humanity, remembering that you always, always have your breath to come back to.
So in this episode, what came to me is I was driving in my car and listening to the radio. And as of this recording, and it honestly doesn't matter when you listen to this or what time of the year it is, the Christmas music stations are on full blast. It's surprising me how early it starts. And anyway, the song Winter Wonderland came in, and the word Wonderland, like, just stuck with me. It was like a word I couldn't get out of my head. I'm like, wonder. And just this whole like magical winter wonderland that's described in the song and for this, whole season that's upon us. And I don't think this needs to be about a particular time during a season. I think this idea of wonder can get a little lost when we're adulting, so to speak. And I think of, my children and how they just hold this joy-filled wonder in their lives, and how I also think wonder is essential for us as adults, especially as we grow older. So we don't become resigned to like, oh, this is just the way life is for me. But if we can hold this truly beautiful energy of wonder and joy and really bring that forward into our lives, I do really think that no matter what season it is, we can find this inward source of joy.
Mm, absolutely. I just think about how lost we get when we start adulting, right? We lose that because we have this cultural conditioning of needing to be serious all the time
Right.
and needing to take care of all the responsibilities that come with adulting and and so then of course all the experiences we have that that start to take that joy away, that wonder away from that childlike self, due to, you know, being maybe going through emotional pains and, traumas and experiences and yeah, the seriousness of it. But what if we were to recognize that that is actually, it is our birthright to find that joy again and to really look at our conditioned responses as just that. They're conditioned responses, right? And that when we allow ourselves to tap into that joy and that wonder again, how truly deeply flowing our life can be and how much, you know, we can recognize that it's also a choice to say
Absolutely.
we want to, we can either focus on the seriousness of things or we can, learn to truly cultivate that birthright of joy and wonder.
Absolutely. No, I love how you bring that up, that joy is a choice. And I will admit my perfectionist self can take myself way too seriously. I think that just came from, again, family conditioning, not blaming any of my family. They're all doing the best they can with what they know. But I do think that that does come up. I take myself too seriously, and then the negative self-talk comes up, and there's no joy in that. And it literally becomes a mental habit. And I've learned to begin to switch that little by little. And I do think there needs to be brought up some clarity between joy versus happiness. And again, this is kind of my take on it. I know everyone vocabulary can be a little bit of a tricky thing, but I do look at joy as being more of this inward feeling that we can choose no matter what, no matter if we are going through struggles or emotional pain. Happiness, I see, I mentioned like the songs on the radio. Well, the ads on TV, not that I've seen a lot of them, but this time of year, they're very much geared towards if someone acquires this thing, this object, then they'll be happy, right? And they show it people smiling faces and dancing around. And so for me, happiness is more external. And not to say that happiness is invalid. I definitely think there can be a place for it. But what I truly want as I age is that deeper sense of joy. And that really is a choice and something that I've had to uncondition myself out of the seriousness and perfectionism and then actively choose joy no matter how my day is going or whether I have the thing that I see on TV or not.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree because, we do, that's another, I think, conditioned response is that, when we think about happiness, we think about, well, I think about, I hear the pursuit of happiness, and, something that we can have to attain outside of ourselves or, I'll be happy when, right? There's that I'll
Mm,
be happy when syndrome, like I'll be happy when I get the car, when, the house, the relationship, and so, but the joy is, it's an energy, right? And so we have to relearn to tap into that energy, right? And so I think it's important, when we want to embody something that we find someone that can that already possesses or embodies that experience, right? And then we can really begin to model that. And who is a better model than a child, right? When they're like really tapped in and they don't even have to think about, their joy. They're, experiencing life through a whole new lens, and, playing and creating and being in this embodiment. So, finding a child and really seeing how they are living through their eyes, what is the energy that they're creating, and how would that feel in your body? We can do that when we tap into another's energy in that way. And to really learn, we can learn a lot from children and their like childlike play, and learning to get into our bodies again, and dance and create, and just look through the world, look through our lens, our eyes, in a whole new perspective, like opening your eyes for the first time as if you had never seen this experience before, and then looking around like you've never had this experience. And what would that be like? What would that be like? It's such a beautiful experience to practice that, and
Absolutely.
finding that space to really begin to allow yourself that experience.
Yeah. I know speaking of, being around the energy of children, my daughters have definitely brought so much joy at all the ages they're in, even my teenager. And I would love to add that reflecting on what brought us joy in our own childhood. And for some of this might be a stretch. We may not remember as clearly, but one of the most healing things that I remembered from my childhood is that I loved to sing. My mom tells me stories of like she'd put me in the grocery cart, in the front seat there, and I would just sing while my mom was grocery shopping. And people would pass by and be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so happy," and I had lost that as an adult, and I was judged. "Oh, your voice really isn't that good." I heard messages like that. And it wasn't until, gosh, I was probably in my, mid late 30s that I had remembered. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I loved to sing when I was little." And so when I brought that back in as like a healing practice, it actually raised my vibration to a level that did actually heal my body. And to this day, I attend that singing because it brought in so much joy. Once I got rid of if I sounded a certain way, but just once I allowed myself to be in that vibration, it literally healed my body because I was not just happy. I was in a state of joy. I was being joy.
Mm, being joy, embodying that. Yes. For me, it's dancing. And
Hmm.
so I love to dance. I love to just flow with music, and, the energy, and getting into my body, and ecstatic dancing, and that's so fun and joyful, because you're really just getting out of your head, right? It's getting out of your head and getting into your body, and just feeling, what that feels like, because you're in flow. And when you're in flow, you can tap into that, the embodiment of that, and it's not something that you have to try to get, right? Because it's already there. It's there when you allow that energy to really flow through you.
Mm-hmm. So I would definitely encourage listeners that are out there, really get curious and place yourself in the state of wonder. Like, what did you truly enjoy doing as a child, that state of flow? Maybe it was finger painting. Maybe, like it was some kind of movement or singing or just some kind of creative endeavor. Maybe it was just running. And although maybe you can't run right now for physical reasons, maybe it is just some kind of forward movement. Get really curious. And if you're still kind of stumped as to like, well, I don't really remember what brought me joy as a child, put yourself in the midst of someone who is childlike, an actual child. I think pets can be great for this. And just allow yourself that non-attachment, non-judgment to what it looks like or if this feels silly or not. It's a matter of lightening up and really tapping into the heart space of how we want to be. And I think that is one of the most beautiful practices that we can do to lift our energy. And so I think, Stacy, you're going to lead us in a meditation to really tap into this sense of joy and wonder.
Yes. And so I would like to just invite you to just begin to settle into the space wherever you're in. If you're driving, you can always come back to this. But just allowing your body to feel settled in, to feel grounded and supported by whatever surface you're on, and allowing your attention to come into your heart space. And as you do, just notice what's in your heart and just feeling into your heart and whatever is there, just allowing it to be. And just imagine a white light beginning to shine, beginning to glow in your heart space, allowing that white light to begin to move throughout your heart and expanding, allowing it to grow, and imagining a time when you felt joy, when you felt wonder, knowing that this is your birthright, knowing that this is exactly right where you need to be. This is what is cultivated. And so getting to know that you can cultivate your own joy. And it is something that we can begin to grow and expand. And so tapping into that space of when you felt joy and just imagining what you were doing. Were you dancing? Were you singing? Were you playing or creating art? And tapping into that space and feeling what you felt in that moment. What were you seeing? What were you listening to? Bringing in your senses. Did you notice any smells? What was the feeling? Allowing that feeling to grow throughout your entire being. Bringing in all your senses. And noticing how strong that feels for you. And if it feels like it can grow even stronger, remember it's just energy. So imagine there's a dial out in front of you. Just notice where that is on the dial. And notice if you can just turn that up and increase that feeling of joy just a little bit more. Just continuing to expand and embody that feeling. Being in that space and knowing that you can always come back to this. And just being with that and taking one step closer to bringing that into your life. And what is one thing that you can do today that will bring that joy into creation at this moment, bringing that feeling into your life? You continuing to allow that to flow in each part of your day as you move forward today. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you for listening to Be the Love podcast. If you enjoyed listening to our show, please share the love by sharing it with your family and friends, giving us a 5-star written review on iTunes and Spotify, or liking us on Facebook. I'm Brenda Carey, and as a holistic healer, I offer coaching and online programs to guide people in their sacred path to vibrant health. My website is sacredpathyogaandreiki.com.
And I'm Stacy Musial. I'm a psychotherapist specializing in whole person, deep soul healing. You can find out more about my work, my book, and programs at awakenyourempoweredsoul.com. You can check out our links in the show notes. And please consider supporting our mission to awaken our souls with a monthly donation that helps us with the operating costs of this podcast so we can continue to spread the love. To contribute, visit our Patreon website at patreon.com/Be the Love podcast. And stay tuned for more episodes being released on Mondays at 5:55 a.m. Mountain Time.